Good evening, and welcome again to Social Distancing Story Time. In chapter 26 and 27 of In the Country of the Blind. Um, see, we've got a few people here. We're going to read two chapters tonight with a short break, as we have in the past. Um, Sad news today, a bit of sad news. I just heard that Roy Horn, half of the duo of Siegfried and Roy, passed away today from coronavirus. So that's a bit of sad news for the day. Um, to recap where we were when we left Zack, he had been attacked, gone to the hospital. Sally met him there. He and the two of them had a big argument because he wanted to know why she knew what he was up to. He thinks he's figured out what was going on, how the clubs were involved in money laundering and drug distribution. And because he was there and saw this young man, this young pop star, buy drugs and figured part of it out, Sally wants him to give an affidavit, and that will give her and her team enough money to go, not money, enough information to get a search warrant and go and arrest the Melfis and maybe shut their operation down. It doesn't seem yet, though, like there's anything that will uh, be able to tie them specifically to the murders. Um, so Sally has been hanging out with Zack all night to make sure that he doesn't go to sleep because he's got a concussion. And we will pick up there with chapter 26. Except now I have to ask. Carrie Berger Rosenthal said, "Oh no." Oh, is that about Roy Horn? I'm assuming that's what it was in response to. Um, Chapter 26. By the time Sally and I were done kicking our theories around, the sun was coming up. Sally wanted me to come to the state with my statement so they could start working on warrants right away. I was exhausted, but I couldn't go to sleep until 2 o'clock that afternoon unless I had someone wake me up every 2 hours to make sure I was okay, so I agreed. We stopped at the diner on Amsterdam, north of 72nd, to slap a layer of breakfast on the bottom of our stomachs before we sucked down any more coffee. I had a Western with cheese with one latke on the side and watched Sally pack a stack of pancakes topped with a fried egg and bacon into her tiny frame. Thus fortified, we walked down Broadway through Columbus Circle, where I still felt a pang of nostalgia for the ugly edifice of the old Coliseum. At the precinct, Sally taped my statement, then handed me a legal pad. "Now I need you to write out what you just told me," she said, "so we can get someone to type it up for an exhibit on the warrant application." "Forget it," I said. "I'm not going to write all that out longhand. My hand will cramp up." What a baby. Anyway, my handwriting went all to shit in law school from taking so many notes so fast. No one will be able to decipher it. Why don't I type it up at home and email it to you? I want to make sure you don't leave anything out. I practiced law for a lot of years. I think I can get in all the facts you'll need to support a warrant application. Let me email it. You can't email it. We need a notarized copy. Or did they neglect to teach you that in law school? You'll have to drag your ass all the way back here. So let me type it up here. Jesus, you make things complicated. Hey, I've gotten beat up twice and I helped you crack 2 cases. Give me a little slack. They're not cracked yet. Well, my head is cracked, so I'd still like a little slack. She groaned. All right, let's find you an empty workstation. In the squad room, she found an unused terminal in a dark corner. She pulled up an extra chair, logged onto the system, and opened up a file for me. She made occasional suggestions as I worked, and when I was done, she sent the file to a printer. I signed 5 copies in front of a civilian worker who was also a notary. So what happens now? Now we make the application for the warrant, or if the ADA writing the investigation thinks she's got enough, she'll go to the grand jury for an indictment. You might get subpoenaed unless she thinks she's got enough evidence without you. How long will all this take? Not long, I hope. Me too, I said, gingerly touching the back of my head. Yeah, these guys might be feeling the heat a little. Keep looking over your shoulder. Let me know when it's going to go down, I asked. No, she said, but I'll be in touch afterward as soon as I can. I'd like to get anything you find on the Alex situation. It would ease Cynthia's mind a lot. Cynthia? His roommate. That's the reason I got involved in this whole thing to begin with. Oh, yeah, your girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. I just met her when this whole thing started. Yeah, I know all about it. Listen, any info we get on the homicide goes to Jenkins and Cleary. It's still their case. In the meantime, you know the way out of here. She held up my signed statements. I want to shepherd these through the system. She started to walk away. Hey, I called after her. She turned. You're welcome, I said. Sorry, I'm excited, she said, stepping back to me with a smile. I've been working on these guys for a while. Now I think we're getting somewhere. She stood on tiptoe and kissed me on the cheek. Thanks. I watched until she turned the corner at the end of the corridor. Then I found my way out. I woke up to the phone ringing. My head felt as though someone had whacked one of those log splitting wedges into it a few inches and then left on a coffee break before finishing the job. I picked up the portable phone. Hello? Zack? It was Cynthia. Yeah. Are you okay? You sound awful. Thanks. Yeah. Could you hold on a second? Sure. Is this a bad time? Yeah. No, I can talk. It's just the log splitter returned and took another whack at the wedge. Ah, Jesus. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. I pushed the mute button on the phone and held it by the antenna with my teeth to free both hands, then negotiated the ladder down from the loft. I was in boxer shorts and the cold was jittering the sleep out of me, but it didn't help my head. In the bathroom, I fumbled with the cap of the generic ibuprofen and finally managed to dump 3 pills into my palm. I hurled them into my mouth, scuttled back to the kitchen, and swallowed them down with some seltzer. I limped over to the couch, grabbing the comforter and wrapping it around me as I sat down. Sorry about that. I had to get some aspirin. What's going on? I had a little problem last night. I told her about getting jumped. Zack, that's terrible. To my ears, she didn't sound overly concerned. Are you all right? I had to get stitches and I have a concussion, but I'm pretty okay. Thank goodness. Listen, I'm glad I caught you because I have some great news. It looks like I'm going to California. What do you mean? I went on tape for Fort Bragg, the soap, and I'm going out to LA to start taping right away. What about your play? They're going to replace me, but it's okay. The artistic director's wife, she's such a bitch. She's been jealous of me the whole time anyway, so now she's going to get to step in. That's great, I said, failing to sound enthusiastic. It didn't matter. She wasn't paying attention. Isn't it? So anyway, the reason I'm calling is I really need a favor. Hold on a minute. I might be fresh out of favors for you. The last time I saw you, you gave me the brush off, and now I'm sorry, Zack. I really am. I was going to call you about that, but that was a really stressful time with the memorial and then my audition for Fort Bragg the next day. Still, I'm pretty fried right now, and I've gotten in enough trouble helping you out as it is. What do you mean? I mean, last night. What does that have to do with me? It was coming to your rescue that got me into this whole mess. What do you mean? It's all tied into Alex and his death. We've finally figured out what's going on. What? Now she seemed interested. What did you find out? I told her about the trail I had followed, finishing up with the events that took place at Hentai and the discovery of the Melfi's little over-the-bar drug operation. Oh my God. So you think drug dealers killed Alex? Why? From what you told me, it looks like he was working undercover for the cops, although, of course, they're denying it. You think Alex was an undercover cop? Not a cop, an informant. It fits with the rest of what you told me. He got fired by the Melfis. He was depressed. We don't know why he was fired, but maybe it had to do with the drugs. Maybe he had been working for them long enough that they decided to bring him in on the bartender dealer side of the operation. When they did, he balked. He wouldn't do it, and they fired him. But what makes you think he was working with the police? Well, you said yourself he was involved in something in the weeks before he died, something he was really secretive about. This fits. You also overheard him say that thing about the devil's playground. I think that relates to this. I met one of the women from this community he was involved with, and there's this weird puritanical streak running through it. Maybe the drug angle at the restaurant set him off. Maybe it upset him on some level that even he didn't understand. The drugs were something he wouldn't get involved with, and when they fired him, something snapped. He wanted vengeance. What do the police think about this? They deny they had any involvement with Alex, but what else are they going to say? They look like jerks if he was helping them and he got killed on their watch. But what if they're telling the truth? What if Alex wasn't helping them? First of all, they're not telling the truth. They've jerked us around since the night Alex was killed. This is why. And if the cops are telling the truth and he wasn't an informant, then I still think the Melfis killed him or had him killed. If he wasn't working with the police, maybe he was blackmailing them. Alex? No way. He would never do something like that. Think about it, I said. He'd filed an unemployment claim and they nixed it. He goes down there, has a big argument with one of the managers, and suddenly his claim goes through with no objection from them. That's pretty unusual. I don't think he'd blackmail anyone. She sounded petulant. Maybe blackmail is the wrong word, since he was just trying to get what was rightfully his, and it was rightfully his. Getting fired for failing to comply with an unlawful request from an employer is unjustified, so he wasn't blackmailing them. But if he threatened to spill the beans on the drug operation unless they stopped freezing out his unemployment application, then he was a problem. First he quits and then he threatens to squeal. How were they to know he wouldn't want more money later and then threaten them again? That's how these guys would think, and they couldn't take a chance. Unemployment benefits are pretty meager. They'd think he'd be coming back later with his hand out for more. Okay, that makes sense. And it certainly fits better with the Alex I knew. She sighed. So what happens now? Now we just wait for the cops to make the bust. I think it'll be soon. And after that, they can play one suspect off against another and get someone to roll over on the murder in exchange for lighter treatment on the whole package. The murder, the conspiracy, the drugs. There will be people who are looking at some serious jail time, so it'll be worth it for someone to make a deal. So he really didn't kill himself. Oh, we knew that all along. But now the world will know it. I hate to tell you this, Cynthia, but it's not like anyone cares. His parents don't, and he didn't have any friends that were losing any sleep over it. He had me. True. And now he's got you. I didn't know how I felt about that, so I let it hang. There wasn't anything more to say. Alex's murder was the knot that bound us together, and I had sliced through it. Whatever. The silence grew uncomfortable, and I broke it. So, what do you need? What? She sounded as if I'd startled her. You called for a favor. Oh, it's just the cat. Hank has been taking care of it, but he's going away for a few days, and I need someone to feed it. Also, he doesn't want it, so I'm looking for someone to take it, permanently. You're not taking it to LA? God, no. I don't like cats. I thought it was yours. No, it was Alex's. Can't you find a place for it when you come back to pack? That's just it. I'm not coming back. I have to go straight out to LA. I'm flying out of Bradley. My agent's getting a company to pack all my stuff and ship it to me. They won't deal with cats, though. Oh, I said. They're not coming until next Friday. Could you feed it until then? Then, if you don't know anyone who wants it, you could just drop it off at a shelter. What about Alex's stuff? I asked. Are you going to ship it to his parents? They already went through it and took what they wanted, didn't they? I'll just leave it and let the super throw it out. After he picks it over, I thought. It's that easy, huh? I told you, I don't like cats. That wasn't what I was referring to, but I let it slide. So when is Hank leaving? I asked. When do you need me to start feeding the cat? He's leaving tomorrow, so you need to start feeding it tomorrow night. Hank will leave a note explaining what it eats and whatnot, and then I need to find a home for it by Friday. Right. What's its name? Maxie. Boy or girl? What? Boy or girl, male or female, Maxwell or Maxine. I don't even know. Okay. What about your keys? You can just give them to the super when you're done. Okay, I said. Really? She sounded all perky again. Yeah, really. I'll take care of it. Oh, thanks, Zack. You're a sweetheart. I'll call you as soon as I get out to LA and I know where I am. Great, I said. I'd be looking forward to that call along with the ones from the telemarketers. Okay, then. I'll talk to you. Okay, then. Bye, she said, and hung up. I sat and looked at the receiver in my hand. I had the same feeling in my stomach that follows a really great candy bar. You're not hungry anymore, but you're still starved for nourishment. She was going to take LA by storm. And that is the end of chapter 26. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. And when you do, click the bell so that you get notifications of upcoming live streams. And also take a moment to go over to my website, MatthewArkin.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. So you'll get the articles that I write on the craft of acting and writing and other aspects of storytelling. So that takes care of chapter 26, and we'll take a quick little break, and I'll set up for chapter 27, and we'll be back in just a minute. All right, bye.